Hello everyone, welcome to Around the Pound. This is the 2014 Awards Part 3. This one focuses on video games, hence why I, Chriz, aka the Mole, of the Gaming Zone, am officially hosting it. Joining me is James Pheonix from Lair of the Pheonix.
Hello.
And Marcus Shadow from Shadow's More.
What's up?
So yeah, this is going to be our best and worst of video game related topics. The first one up will go with the worst new video game of 2014. Okay, so would one of you like to kick it off first?
Sure. You didn't want to kick it off yourself?
I had no qualms either way.
All right. Well, if you want, I'll kick it off. Sure. What are we starting with?
Worst,
are we going?
Worst new video game, like I just mentioned.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed what you mentioned. Okay, so we're just gonna go straight down. Didn't know if you were gonna go reverse like the others. Fair enough. Worst new video game.
There's no need to go reverse on this one because the last one is best and worst gaming platform, which I felt was bigger than just a game.
True. Good point. Okay, so worst new game. I've got Watch Dogs for the PS4. I enjoyed the game, but I could see, it kind of didn't live up to the hype, and it almost felt like a last-gen game, which is not good if it's supposed to be a launch title for current gen. So hopefully if they decide to do like a remaster of it later, it'll actually improve it. But yeah, Watch Dogs.
Fair enough. How about James Pheonix?
Well, let's see here. My worst new disc or cartridge video game that is new, I gave it to Lego Batman 3. I haven't played that many new games this year, and that one in particular I didn't like because I haven't finished it yet, but from what I've played, it seems like it's really restrictive in terms of the free play, because they removed the nice open world Gotham you could roam through, and now it's just, okay, go to the Batcave, to the Watchtower, and apparently the Lantern Worlds once you unlock them. That just seems like it's really restrictive, and it's not as cool as the open world that they once had. And even comparatively to the open world Gotham, the even bigger open world New York that they put in Lego Marvel, which came out before this, so I don't see why they couldn't have had a big open world in that game.
Fair enough. Well, I will just make the point, Jim. That's the wrong one. That's a sequel.
Is it? Oh.
The number 3.
Well, that's right. I haven't played any new games, so sue me.
Yeah, it's fine.
If you want to see new games, say Lego Marvel for not fucking working without the PSN. There you go.
That
could work.
That was the year before, but yeah, okay.
No, the PS4 one came out this year.
PS4 one came out in November. I bought it with my console. Of the year
Which
before.
was 2014, and that's the year we're going on.
Of the year before.
Yeah, he said November 23rd.
PS4.
Yeah.
No, it didn't come out that
right.
It did. It was my launch title. It was one of my launch games. That, Knack, and Killzone.
Yeah, Lego Marvel for PS4 came out at the same time as Lego Marvel for PS3.
But my worst new video game of this year, I gave a tie to Destiny and Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs for it was just too meh. I know it's not really a term, but it was too average, let's just say that. It felt like I mentioned, it felt like Just Cause without the fun, which I didn't like. And Destiny, it's an MMO, just call it an MMO. Stop trying to say, oh no, it's a shooter. It's nothing like an MMO. Endgame gives you raids and stuff. It's like, no, it's an MMO, just fucking call it an MMO. And even that, they don't allow trade. You can fucking trade on Borderlands, and that's not an MMO. No, not a Destiny. I didn't like anything to do with Destiny or Watch Dogs. So back to Marcus for best new video game.
Best new video game.
We just did new.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
so worst.
best.
Oh, best.
So the best new video game, in my opinion, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Now, I know one of the big complaints about this game is it's just Assassin's Creed. But from my perspective, because I've only played the first one, to me it didn't feel like Assassin's Creed really at all. If anything, it felt like the Batman Arkham games a lot, which I understand both Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft, who makes Assassin's Creed, and Rocksteady borrowed heavily from each other for their subsequent games, which is probably why it feels that way. But to me, it felt more like Arkham. But I really liked it. I liked the look of it. It went with the movie look of Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings, which I know a lot of people, present company included, don't like, which is fair enough. Everyone has their own opinions. I rather liked it. I haven't read the books. But yeah, I felt it was very atmospheric and it did a good job. The Nemesis system was really good. I feel it could be improved, and I feel they have a great base for a possible great franchise. I feel they could go split off, and I like the fact that they called it Middle Earth instead of Lord of the Rings. So it's not like, at least in my opinion, and I think it's what they were going for, was they didn't want to give you the expectation of, something Lord of the Rings, like playing as like Aragorn or something. They wanted to kind of explore other facets of Middle Earth, other facets of the war that's going on surrounding the Ring and Sauron and stuff, which I kind of liked. And the gameplay in this was really good. I had a lot of fun with this game.
Nice. I will say, 'cause I know you were addressing me when you said present company. I don't mind the look of the movie when they do it for games. Like Lord of the Rings Conquest, the look was not the worst part of that. That was the gameplay. Or my Guardians of Middle Earth, which I liked. My problem with the look of this one was they went a lot darker, in my opinion, than the film for the sake of dark and gore, and I didn't like that because I'm like, it's meant to be Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth. It's not fucking Dark Souls.
True. Fair enough. That's a valid complaint.
Did you have a best new video game, Jim?
Best video game? Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. Where is it? Oh, well, never mind.
Okay.
You don't?
I had a Lego Marvel game, but you said that was last year, so it doesn't count.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Can
I give you one?
I guess.
How about the game you were just playing?
That's a sequel, you dipshit. This is a new award.
GTA 5.
Yeah, I guess it could be argued either way because isn't it supposed to be like a reboot for the series or something?
It's a sequel. It's a sequel because of the 5, and while it reboots the storylines and stuff, to be fair, all the GTAs still have references to each other, and the fact it's called 5 is still.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
And it's supposed to be in canon and continuity with 4. 4 was the reboot game.
Fair enough.
But I will say, my best new video game, which I thought Jim may have given it to this, but I went with South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Haven't played it.
Fair enough.
Also, a tie to Murdered Soul Suspect.
Okay.
For very different reasons. South Park: The Stick of Truth, like I mentioned, is just fan service. It's so wonderfully fun to just experience and play and go through and see like all the little Easter eggs. And even though it was, it was censored in the UK, I still love the fact they went over the top with how they did the censorship.
Yeah.
Right out, so they describe it in great detail. That's wonderful. Murdered Soul Suspect, I wanted to give it a tie because I really liked Murdered Soul Suspect and I enjoyed it for the single player and being able to like go, ooh, where does this come? Where does that go? Where does this come out? Ooh, okay, now where's the clues and scanning everything? I just loved both experiences. I think Murdered Soul Suspect, part of the reason I put it on that list is it's really underrated and I think it deserves something. So I gave it a tie with South Park: Stick of Truth.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like Murdered Soul Suspect for some reason. At least from what I read.
Yeah, some people didn't, some people did. I mean, a lot of people did like it, but a lot of people overlooked it, and some people didn't like it. But yeah, I like that game. I mean, you saw me live stream that. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now we come to worst sequel, prequel video game of 2014. Over to actually kick it off, Jim. I'm not sure what you had for that one. Unless it was the first one that you said.
What first one I said?
Lego Batman 3.
No, that was bad, but I gave it to WWE 2K15.
Nice.
Because, okay, I'll give the credit for the superstars look a lot better and the graphics are a lot better and the gaming engine works pretty well. But you broke the online mode almost completely, and you took out a lot of features. Yeah, I get that you were in a rush and you couldn't finish them, so you took them out. Fair enough. But that still has an overall effect on the game, and mostly this is for the broken online, because there's no excuse for that shit. You can fuck off.
Okay.
Fair enough. I had mentioned to Marcus, I didn't think the online was that broken because I've had a load of matches online with people and player matches and stuff. And
Every time half the time we've tried to go do matches, it refused to load into the matches.
Yeah, there is that too. I forgot about that.
See,
We tried to set up matches with Andy, and this night the two of us did matches with Andy. It lagged to all fuck to the point of near unplayability, and then we had several times where we were trying to get into matches, we couldn't even get into the matches, trying all kinds of different combinations, we couldn't get into the matches. Plus, I know, like Marcus has mentioned in the past, they took out that match customizer, which not that big a deal to me, but I know to him it was a big deal, and it is a little annoying.
Oh, I mentioned to Marcus, so what I was saying was I mentioned to Marcus, I agreed with the match customization, I agreed with the entrances too, because that was kind of fun, but whenever I went to play player matches with a load of people I've played with, every time we got in straight away and not a single bit of lag compared to the previous years, and I'm like, that was fun.
Yeah, it might be, and I mentioned to Mole when he said that, Jim, it might be due to the fact that we all have shit internet and Mole doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And it's just, if you want to play stuff online, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to have to get better internet. That's
not necessarily. It could have also been the times, because, like, let's say you're playing at the time when all the American people are going to be playing the game at once. The servers are going to be a lot more heavy with people on there than they are when, well, the UK people are on there, because there's less people in the UK.
True.
We're like the size of Texas.
True.
Without the racism. Unless you go to the BMP, in which case, lots of racism. No. The UK people will love that joke. But yeah, over to Marcus then.
All right,
there's plenty of racism. It's just against the Welsh.
So we're going down.
No, racism is discriminating against people. Welsh people aren't people.
So we're at sequel or prequel? Yes. Worst.
Yes.
So mine is Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. Now, since I put this on my list, there has been a patch to fix one of the biggest annoyances. I haven't actually played it yet. Mole, have you tried it to see if it works?
What do you mean?
Well, I haven't. I got the patch, but I haven't actually played the game, so I can't attest to how well the patch works to fix Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, I said, what do you mean have you played it? The reason I told you was I said, when I was playing it, when I went through to play my Arrow DLC, and I was telling you about me playing it and seeing it, I was like, yeah, it's fixed it in nearly every part I've been in.
Oh, okay, I thought you were just like reading off what they were, like the patch notes. My bad.
No,
okay,
that was just a wonderful surprise. I didn't read it, I was just like, yay.
Fair enough. So yeah, apparently they fixed that, and then they have the Arrow DLC, so they have more DLC. He was they had put him too close to the panels and stuff, so when you went up to activate the panels, you'd activate him too. Which is why he could constantly talk.
And he'd be on a loop while you're in the menu because he couldn't close off until it had acknowledged you'd seen it. But it couldn't do that if you were in a menu, and it's like, So what they've done is, with the patch, they've just scooted him along a few feet.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Now, Mole, the Arrow DLC level, is it basically another Deadpool level like the other ones?
Sort of. It is sort of like the other ones, but like I said, it's short, but it is really fun to play through. I love that level.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's still probably still not something we should have paid for. If they wanted us to pay for it, it should be longer, as we have said before. But yeah, Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, just because that, and as big a fan as I am of Batman and of the 1960s Batman, even I had to agree with Mole when he said, yeah, the theme song got kind of annoying because every fucking character did it, and Cyborg was just on a constant friggin' loop. At least for me, it was just him. For Mole, I think you said you got it with a couple other characters that I didn't. But
I got it with a few other characters. So I will say I did like to tune again. With the DLC when they did the DLC, and when you click over him, you get no, arrow, and I'm like, yay! But
Yeah.
but that's only because I hadn't heard it for a while. So once again, it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but that, and then also, as we said in our review, it is a step back from like Lego Batman 2 and Lego Marvel. There is no big like overworld kind of thing. It's all mapped now because it's all in space, which fragments the world, which I don't like. I don't like the fact that you can't explore the world. It's just click the point, go, and then you have like a little Lego level that you can explore, like planet side and stuff. And it's just it's not the same.
Yeah, they introduced that with like a movie video game, and that was one of the worst parts. I hated that like a movie video game. They managed to take the film and suddenly make it a chore to play through. Although parts of it were funny, I suppose, but it's at least worth checking out. But yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah. So yeah, Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. Back to Mo.
Mine for worst sequel, prequel, no surprise here when you've heard me talk about it, Dragon Age Inquisition. Because they promised me Dragon Age and they sold me Skyrim. Well, technically Oblivion, but everyone keeps saying Skyrim because not everyone played Oblivion. Which was a little annoying, but yeah, it's a case of which same company, but yeah, basically, or same company making Skyrim as Oblivion is what I mean. But yeah, basically, you can't even fucking take a step without a side quest popping up, which is annoying. The characters are just flat, two-dimensional. I don't really give a shit. Experiencing going through it, don't really care. They make it so you forget about most of the story. And they introduce your character from the second game and piss all over her, or him, depending on which one you made, by making him a snivelling little underling for someone. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Everything about this game is bad. Everything about it. You've sold me a completely wrong experience. I don't like that. And it's not that I don't like Skyrim or Oblivion. It's like I mentioned in the past. It's like if I bought WWE 2K15, let's say, for example, because I know everyone here has played it. If I bought that and it was Grand Theft Auto, I'd be pissed. If I bought Grand Theft Auto and it was WWE, I'd be pissed. I want Grand Theft Auto to be Grand Theft Auto. I want WWE to be WWE. I want Dragon Age to be Dragon Age. I want the BioWare experience. When I buy Skyrim, I want the Skyrim experience. It's that simple. How can they fuck this up?
Yeah, and it sounds like they pissed all over the player too by, like you said, taking your player character from the second game and just completely destroying them. And it's just like, really, why would you do that to the player? What? No, that just sounds terrible. Like, remember the character that you built up and that you love from the second game because you put all the man hours? Troll face, you mad bro. And it's just like, fuck off.
Yeah, it's like I don't agree with that because more so than with BioWare games and any other RPG, I do feel a sense of connection with the character because of the choices, how they do and stuff. A bit of yourself will be in the character. Even if you go full evil, it's still you seeing those choices, making that conscious decision, and it's still you wanting to do that. I don't go full evil. Most of the time I either go full evil sometimes or full good sometimes on like a second or third playthrough, but most of the time, first playthrough, first character, I just make the choices I'd actually make and see what happens, which is fun. I like that. It makes it more emotionally connected and more invested.
Yeah. Sounds like what they did is basically what would be akin to taking Commander Shepard and in Mass Effect 3 making him the elusive man's bitch and making, like, say, Garrus the main character that you play as.
Well, sort of. About the character that Hawk's the bitch of wasn't necessarily a villain. Wasn't a villain at all. Because making Commander Shepard the elusive man thing like they did in the second one was awesome. How they did it, that was great. That was wonderful. That was an improvement on the first game in every single way. This one would be like taking Commander Shepard and randomly, suddenly he's the underling of like one of the people you did a side quest for on the first planet that you had no investment from, not a big character. Unless of course you make the other two choices they wanted you to, which I was like, oh come on, Anders is king, the other guy's dead. Don't just say, okay, well you didn't do what we wanted. Fuck it, you get this guy. It's like, oh fuck off. But yeah, now Dragon Age Inquisition. But now best sequel or prequel game. Over to Jim.
Grand Theft Auto 5. pretty much enough said.
Nice.
Nice.
It's just a great game. The graphics are great. The gameplay is fun, as much as I seem to suck at that. But yeah, the online mode is working really well. It kicks you out occasionally, but that's to be expected with the sheer number of people you have in there and the world you're trying to render. Given all of that, it's pretty damn steady and it works pretty damn well, and I'm impressed. I can't wait till I include heists. That's going to be a lot of fun. But overall, everything I've played so far is great. There's a lot of references to the past GTA games they didn't have as much of in GTA 4. They were trying to distance it. I think it bit them in the ass, they realized. So they put a lot more Laszlo in, talk radio stations from the past, Fernando's in there, TV shows and stuff from the past, like there's all kinds of fun, great stuff that you can watch and see and enjoy, and just a side task stuff to play. It's just a huge, huge world with so much to do, and it's a lot of fun.
I can agree with that. Although, like I said, I don't think you suck. I think you're being a little too hard on yourself there. But
I got shot 27 times in a death match.
True. But like I said, they may have had one. They went and grabbed the machine guns before your team could. B, they've played a lot more, and C, they may have had armor on.
That and the fact that they had some asshole on a silo sniping us.
Yeah, exactly. Which means that's not necessarily you sucking. That just means they may have been cheaper. But
yeah, still, fact of the matter is, I got killed 27 times.
Yeah, so did Kenny. We still love him.
Nah.
But how about Marcus?
All right. Well, for best sequel, prequel, or re-release, I went with Super Smash Brothers because that game is awesome. I would like to also give a runner-up to Borderlands, the pre-sequel, because that game is also awesome, and I've been playing it a lot recently. I just recently picked it up. But yeah, they're both great games. This iteration of Smash Brothers, it's got its issues, but on the whole, it's probably one of the better iterations of Smash Brothers. It's certainly got the largest roster, I think, despite the fact that it's missing a couple of people that should be in the game. Ice climbers.
Yep.
But yeah, it looks great. It plays great. It's a lot of fun with friends, or just multiplayer in general. It now has an online multiplayer, so woot. And then like Borderlands, it's Borderlands. It's not made by Gearbox. It's like produced by Gearbox, but it was developed by 2K Australia, and you can see their influence all over it because most of the voice actors in here are Australian. So yeah, a lot of it was sourced locally, which isn't a bad thing because this game is actually really good, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, those two.
Nice. My one for best if it's a sequel or prequel, I gave it to Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition on PS4. Because I really like that game on the PS4. Unlike other versions of it, you have a role. There's an extra dungeon been added, which is cool. All the new look of stuff is great. How it plays is wonderful, and it's just a blast to play for. I love playing as the Crusader, and yeah, Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition. And if I was going to give a runner-up, it'd probably be to Ultra Street Fighter 4. Because, fuck, that game's awesome. One of the best fighting games ever. Fucking love that game.
Fair enough.
But now, worst digital-only game. Marcus.
All right, my worst digital-only game, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. Now, on PS4. That's the version I have. Now, I haven't played a lot of it. The concept is kind of interesting, yet kind of weird. But yeah, it's I can't really put my finger on what's wrong with it. It just doesn't feel right for that type of game, and it's just like, oh, you guys could have done better.
Fair enough. And over to James.
My worst digital-only game, I give it to Star Trek Online for breaking the damn game.
That's not a digital-only game.
Yes, it is.
No, I have the disc for it.
Yeah, you have the disc now, but once it went free to play, they made it a digital-only thing where they released it via digital-only for the PC. The version he's played is a digital-only version.
Fair enough.
I'd allow that.
And you really can't turn on a bitch now, considering I didn't change that award from last year. You didn't bitch last year, so yeah, you can shove
Really?
it.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway, like I was saying, Star Trek Online, because I give them credit for some of the cool things they're putting out, the new command specialization, the bridge officer adjustments, the ship changing. They're doing a lot of good stuff with it. But that doesn't help me when I go into the game and the graphics are shot to hell, and they have the people who are just walking around as like white generic, just in place people, and I can't see anybody, and the graphics are glitched out, and that's after I was at least able to get in, which I couldn't do for a long time, and a lot of other people can't. And I know that because I go on your forums and I see there's people complaining that they can't get in, or there's glitches and problems with this and that, and you're more concerned with putting out more freaking packs and content instead of actually fixing the game. That makes it, I want to try those awesome new stuff you're putting out. It sounds awesome, but I can't go to do that, and I'm not going to go to do that when I go in there and half the stuff isn't loading properly.
No. You owed it.
Kind of.
So, no. Therefore, for that, unfortunately, you fail, STO. Worst digital only game.
Nice. Worst digital only game for me, I went with Invoker's Tournament. Because as I mentioned on XGR for people, when you see the month-long awards there, I mentioned it's a MOBA, but everyone plays as the exact same class because it gives you one that you can slightly customize the look of, but that's about it. The rest you kind of have to pay for or grind to get to. And the fun part about MOBA is all the different characters you can pick, and all the different, like, oh my god, yeah, I'm going to be this one, oh my god, I'm going to be this one. Okay, this one has the advantage, this one has the advantage. Okay, now how can I use this character versus this character? How can I use this character versus this one? It's about strategy. It's basically like chess mixed with like an actual like tower defense game type situation. It's all about thinking and strategies. You can't really come up with a decent strategy if every fucking person is the same, which means that you all play the same, you all act the same. It's not a MOBA, it's a fucking deathmatch. But yeah, I went with Invoker's Tournament for that reason. I don't like that game, and that was on PS4, the one I tried. So best digital only game, take us away, James.
Let's see here. Let me scroll up. Oh, irony. I don't know. Well, I kind of already explained this before, because it's the only one I've played. Best digital only game is also Star Trek Online, for the reasons I mentioned of, the new command specialization sounds awesome, great stuff. They're working on that. The changes to the bridge officers to be able to customize those even further, new types of ships that are coming out. The great storylines involving the Voyager cast that they brought back is really great. They're doing a lot of good stuff with the game. It's just unfortunately none of that helps me when the core mechanics of the game aren't working. So yeah, I mean I agree. I give them props for having an awesome Star Trek universe. I mean I love playing the game when it works. I love all the stuff that they do, and it is a great game. And I give them props for doing that and making a great Star Trek game. I just wish they fixed the core problems of their graphics and mechanics.
Yeah, fair enough. So Marcus.
Alright, my best digital only game, SteamWorld Dig for the PS4. That game is awesome. If anyone out there hasn't tried it yet, you need to try this game. It is a great, great game. It's got exploration, it's got Mega Man style kind of action and platforming with slightly better controls. And it's kind of got a slight Diablo type thing to it, where you have basically one town where you go back to like buy supplies and stuff, and then you just go down a hole, and it's like a dungeon crawler. It's like a bunch of genres all mixed into one and done really, really well. There's quick travel points that you can use to quick travel back up to the surface and then back down. And it's kind of basically you creating your own path through the Earth, or whatever planet you happen to be on. You're a robot, and you get a mine from your uncle, who you find destroyed or dead, or I guess dead. They're alive, so. And you get like his pickaxe, and then you have to just dig around. You upgrade your axe. You upgrade, weapons. You find, a la Mega Man and Dr. Light, you find like power-up stations from like alien technology or something, or some technology that people don't know about, or they don't know what it is down in the earth. And you can get upgrades to your robotic body, like the ability to like jump higher, stuff like that. Better and light. You have a lamp or a lantern that you upgrade and stuff. So that's the other thing too, is when you run out of light, you either have to run around in the dark or you have to go back to the surface to let the light refill. It's a really, really awesome game and a really awesome concept.
Nice. And my best digital-only game, I went with The Wolf Among Us. Because that does everything right. It's a prequel to the comic book series Fables. And if you've not read Fables right now, you need to. If you like comic books, read Fables. Great series, really well done. But basically, it's a prequel to that, so you don't need to have read the comics to play the game. But if you have, you kind of get a little bit more enjoyment out of it. And yeah, it's great. It's like an interactive, I don't know, detective show, if you will, because you're playing as Bigby, aka Big Bag of Wolf, and you're going through investigating this crime through the 5 episodes and stuff to try and figure out who's the murderer and what's going on. And there's different choices you can make that impact the game heavily. Like, I chose to murder this dude because he'd been pissing me off all throughout the game with the different stuff he'd been doing, and he'd been really aggressive towards me. So when I got the choice, I made that choice to kill him. And after I did that, for the next episode, most people wouldn't trust me until I earned back the trust. And even he himself felt remorse and regret for what he'd done in that one moment, just going, you know what, yeah, done. And they did it in such a way that once you'd killed him, you're like, oh god, yeah. Oh god, I just murdered that dude right in front of his own brother. Holy fuck, what the hell did I just do? That's kind of wonderful. I like that type of stuff, and I like making choices, and that's what this game does. Easy as hell to play, but it's a huge step up, in my opinion, from their Walking Dead series, because you actually like the characters in this one. And yeah, The Wolf Among Us was just really, it was well written, looked great, because it looked like something from the comics. Had a load of like little stuff you could do, like when you found hidden stuff that you didn't have to, you could unlock biographies for different characters to read up on them and stuff. And yeah, it's just really great. Everyone should check out Wolf Among Us. That was my choice. But I don't know if anyone here has downloaded the demo for that or at least played part of it.
No.
Fair enough. So now on to best and worst, we'll be going through them, of gaming platforms. So we'll start with the worst gaming platform, like before. And I went with, because I'm going to kick this one off first, I went with PlayStation 4. Why? Because, yeah, most of the games that came out this year, Little Big Planet, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed Unity, you think of a big-named game, it had shitloads of bugs and glitches, almost to the point of being unplayable. That shouldn't happen. And then on top of that, the online went down for the holidays, which wasn't really their fault, I'm aware. But when the online goes down, PlayStation 3, last gen's system came up before PS4. Microsoft's system came up before PS4. And it's like, yeah, the PS4, while it may have done well in terms of money and stuff, it's kind of had a bad year. It's left a sour taste in my mouth for this generation, because I'm actually worried about a load of big named games coming out, of whether or not, okay, when I get like Evolve coming up, or when I get Xenoverse, will I actually be able to play these, or are they going to be broken as hell for the first 6 months, which almost makes pre-ordering a game almost pointless nowadays. It's ridiculous. It's been a terrible fucking year for the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
So with their worst platform, take us away, James Pheonix.
For my worst, I give it to the Xbox One.
Well, I was actually going to ask about that. Do we have to have actually played the platform?
That would help, but I'll allow it.
Okay.
I gave it to the Xbox One because we have one at one of the 2 libraries that I work at, and I brought it home because we went to use it for the video game club, and sure enough, number one, it wouldn't let me do screw all without downloading updates first. And despite being a Microsoft product, it apparently lacks the ability to interact with a basic wireless router. Or at least with the way that one was set up, because it has you have to be able to take a little thing that says, I agree to the terms of using this wireless, and apparently it doesn't have the capacity to do that. So we couldn't use it at all, so I had to bring it home and upgrade the thing, which worked, except then I found out that, unlike the PS4, which at least the PS4, when you log in, you have an option for, create a user, just say, player 1 user, whatever user. With Xbox One, you can't do shit all without having a separate Microsoft account that you have to set up separately and sign up with in order to use anything on the Xbox at all, which is a pain in the ass because I don't have one, so I couldn't do anything further than that to get it set up. So either I'm going to have to hope one of the people in the club that wants to use it has a Microsoft account, or we're going to have to create one from the library using one of probably the assistant director's email address, which is just a pain because then I got to do, in order to set up and use it to do anything, I've got to do is at a point when she's there to check the email to get confirmations to do anything, which is a freaking pain in the ass. So without even getting into gameplay, I hate that system. So Xbox One.
Yeah, fair enough. Over to Marcus.
All right, my worst gaming platform. Yeah, I have to agree with Mole. I have to give it to the PS4. I really like the PS4. It's by far my favorite gaming platform. But yeah, it had a really terrible year, especially with how it ended. It's just, yeah. I mean, it says it all when a lot of proponents of PS4 after the Christmas debacle basically said fuck it and traded in their PS4s because they're like, basically it made people feel like Sony's completely incompetent when it comes to internet security.
Yep.
And that's pretty bad.
Which is
it didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth per se. I didn't really mind. I understood. It's like it was annoying. I wanted to be able to get on, but I know. Okay, yeah, they're working on it.
The online bit was not the bit that left a sour taste. It was all the broken games that were released this year that left a sour taste in my mouth.
In your mouth, yeah.
Yeah, because I was the online thing. I was like, fair enough with it was just the games. I was like, stop making broken games, people.
Yeah, but what I was saying was that a lot of other people what left the sour taste in their mouth was the fact that Sony, in their mind, Sony couldn't get their shit together and get the network back up.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people traded in their PS4 literally because of that.
I'd like to make the point how stupid that is because Xbox Live was down too.
Yeah, but they came up within a day.
Yeah.
Which is the people's point. Is they came up within a day, PS3 came up within 2 days, PS4 took like almost a month. It's like, really?
It was not a month. What the hell are you talking about?
It was down for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was
2
almost
weeks.
a month. Yeah, I was down for a long time.
That was not down for that long.
Well, it was down for at least a week.
It was down for like 3 or 4 days, maybe.
Because it was down Christmas Eve, and it came back up the day before New Year's Eve. So about a week. 6 days to a week.
Alright.
Yeah.
But best
Still, that's
gaming,
not a month.
but
Fair enough.
best gaming platform, I gave it to a tie for the Wii U and the Xbox One. The Xbox One, because this year, great games, huge sales, lowered their price. Loads of people have gone out and purchased them. I've played one myself, and while I may not like the control pad, that's a personal preference. Everything on that system seems to work. It has a load of great features. It's just a great system. I think this year they've really upped themselves. You know what I mean? Like for the last year or two, they've been really heavy hitting, trying to compete after people online were idiots with, oh, it's got this, it's got this, it's got this. And it's like they already fixed all that shit. It was announced to E3, learn to read, and it's like, but people still always fell for into that trap and stuff. And it's like, and they did it. They lowered the price and shit, and it outperformed PS4 at the Black Friday sales and stuff like that, and it's in less than a year, it's almost caught up the gap of fucking a ridiculous amount to being almost like 10%, 20% behind. That is fucking impressive. And I'm like, they've had a great year. The other one I gave it to was the Wii U. Obviously, like I mentioned, because the Wii U this year, in the course of a year, Mario Kart, Hyrule Warriors, Bayonetta 2, and Smash Brothers, just to name a few, plus amiibos for the which were mainly for that and stuff like that. And I think this last year, December was, especially in America, was Wii U's best performing month since it launched. And they've done a lot of stuff right with the Wii U this year. Yeah, it has lacked third-party support, which is a shame, but the first-party stuff's been right on track, and it's just been a great experience. So, and also, it's also worth noting that, yeah, during that outage, Xbox One, like you said, came up days and days before PS4, and Wii U just online the whole time. That's just kind of funny, where we lived in a world where Nintendo's system was the only one online. That was weird. But best gaming platform, take us away, James.
PlayStation 4. It's like I said, it's a great system. I haven't had, aside from that slight bit of time after Christmas when the PSN was down, I haven't had any problems. Even when it was down, I was able to play Lego Batman 3, so it didn't really affect my gaming too much. I had to wait on Lego Marvel, but that was annoying, but not the end of the world. And it's played. The game is great. The graphics are good. I played Grand Theft Auto 5 on it. It's run great. All the features have done well. The WWE Network, everything's running well on it. All the graphics are really good in all the games. Even upgraded games like DCUO that just up their graphics with the same interface still really looks really good. GTA 5 looks really good. WWE looks really good. All the graphics are really good. I like the interface on the menus is really easy to skim through, really easy to use. I like that. I like the fact that it tied into my PSN, but I didn't have to use it if I didn't want to, so that made it real easy. And the games are fun. They never have a lot of games to start out with, yeah, but they've come back really, really strongly with a lot of the games that have come out since then, and are really starting to come out of the gate. And they're just going to come even further out of the gate when the big hitters that were supposed to be out actually hit. Arkham Knight, Evolve, Battlefield Hardline. That's going to really drive it home, I think. So that's there's going to be a lot of really great stuff forthcoming, and I think overall, I think the PlayStation 4 has been a great system. I've been a PlayStation guy for years. Like I said, it does a Blu-ray and everything. It's got the larger size discs than Microsoft still, I think.
Nope.
And so holds more data. I think that's always been an advantage that the system has had. And overall,
nope.
What?
Xbox One is Blu-ray.
Okay. Well, anyway, either way, I think the PlayStation is just having a really good job with the console, and I think it had a slow start, but I think it'll pick up and it will overcome, I think.
Fair enough. And like I said, I didn't hate the PS4. In case you thought that, like I said, it was mainly through experience on the year. Which, to be fair, the games that had those problems were also on the Xbox One. It was just a case of I hadn't experienced them on the Xbox One. But yeah, like I said, the PS4, it's a great system. I like it, and I will admit, this year or this generation, which wasn't the same last generation, I don't hate any of the three systems, which that's great. I love all three, and I do like the PS4. Although I do have one request going forward, Jim, for the PS4, which I will say Sony was clever to do it this way, but hopefully they do it the right way now.
Mm-hmm.
They launched the camera and they were like, well, the PlayStation Move didn't sell that much. Let's not waste time incorporating the camera for all of this stuff. Perfect business strategy. I do completely agree with that. And now the camera has sold like fucking hotcakes. And they said something ridiculous like, what was it, like 2 out of 3... What was it? 2 out of 3 PS4 owners now own the camera, so it's like, make games for the camera. I want to see camera games now that aren't Rabbids. Fucking Ubisoft. I love Rabbids, but how the hell can they? No, fuck Ubisoft for that fucking Rabbids Invasion game. But how about Marcus for his best gaming platform?
Right. So my best gaming platform, like Mole, I gave it to the Wii U. It just, Nintendo had such a great year this year with all of its first-party stuff coming out. Still, the big heavy hitters haven't come out. I think that's kind of hurting Nintendo.
You don't think Smash Brothers and Mario Kart are two of its biggest hitters?
Smash Brothers, yeah. Mario Kart, not as big as something like a Zelda or a Metroid. Which
Mario Kart does actually sell more than a Metroid.
Really?
Sadly. I prefer Metroids, but Mario Karts do sell because it has that element of everyone likes to pick up a Mario Kart and play it. It's like, for example, James, you own the Wii, and you've owned Nintendo systems. How many Mario Karts have you owned or played?
I own Mario Kart on the SNES. I own Mario Kart 7 on my 3DS, and I played Mario Kart Wii on the Wii. I don't own it, but I played it.
How many Metroid games have you owned or played?
0 on any system.
Yep. Which that was the point. Mario Kart, sadly, is to a bigger audience. I say sadly, I don't mean it in a negative way. I love Mario Kart, but I wish Metroid sold more.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, but a lot of its main stuff is still in development, and I think that's kind of hurting Nintendo because it's like they got this early jump on the competition by having their system come out first, but on the software side of it, they clearly weren't ready for the launch. But this year, they did very well because they had, even though a lot of their main stuff didn't come out, they still had a lot of titles from their main franchises, even if they were auxiliary titles like Hyrule Warriors. And it's just so far the Wii U has been a pretty solid system with pretty solid games. Like Mole said, lack of third-party support kind of hurting it. But what they do have is actually really good, and because it's Nintendo, because the system is so unique, a lot of the games that they have are unique to that system, which is good.
I will say that's probably its biggest strength with the Wii U. As people have theorized before, the Wii sort of became this, but if you, assuming the two consoles, Jim, were identical in terms of specs, and it wasn't a case of you hadn't had that experience with the online. Let's say Xbox One and PS4. If you owned an Xbox One, or if you owned a PS4, would you really want to get the other one?
Not really.
No, because 90% of the games are all on the same system, and the exclusives are so similar anyway. Whereas, would you like to own a Wii U at some point?
Might be nice.
That's the Wii U's strongest point, is because it's so different to the other two, it will become a lot of people's second console, which may sound bad to say, oh, it's the second console. However, it's the second console. It means if you own a PS4, you're likely to buy a Wii U. If you own an Xbox One, you're likely to buy a Wii U. Now, there are some people who will buy all three, or some people who will buy a PS4 and an Xbox One, vice versa, or whatever. But I think the Wii U's strongest point is it's so different.
Yeah.
People will want to pick that up.
Yeah, and its first-party exclusives are both unique and tied into the history of gaming to the point that it's almost like a tradition, which is another strength of Nintendo's platforms, is people buy their platform not only because it's unique, but out of tradition, because it's like, well, you have to have that system if you want to play their games. If you want to play Zelda, Metroid, Mario, you have to buy that system.
I would also make the case with the first-party games for Nintendo, at least, they put so much, not love, but so much work, I'm going to say, because love is just corny. They put so much work into each individual title that, like, Little Big Planet 3 launched on the PS4. Loads of issues. And was a little underwhelming on a lot of degrees. Rise, Son of Rome. launched on the Xbox One. Underwhelming. Had some problems. Loads of glitches. Super Mario 3D Land. Not a single glitch.
Yeah.
Or if there were, nothing major to the point that it broke the game. And it's like Nintendo would be willing to delay their first-party titles a year or two and have it come out perfect than have their name associated with something that's completely broken and unplayable.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. That's why I still remember the old Nintendo seal of approval. But I think that, yeah, Nintendo's third party is its strength. However, yeah, the third party is crippling that system, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I don't know that Nintendo as a company will ever recover from that, because the third party's been basically crippling them since, well, almost since the GameCube, I think.
Almost since the GameCube, but we did have a load of them, but it was more a load of them was shovel titles. Third party has a lot of support on 3DS. However, Nintendo sold a lot of DSs, a lot of 3DSs and stuff like that. That I think this generation they will know, okay, we kind of fucked up, and maybe, hopefully, next gen they may go and do what Sony and Microsoft did, and actually speak to the third party developers about what they need and what they want for their specs. Because PlayStation 4 and Xbox One did that. Like, they'd give developers control pads and say, okay, you're designing this game, give us your feedback. You're designing this, give us your feedback. And they'd come back and they'd try and make a controller that matched everyone's needs. Which, yeah, it's pretty much the same controller as the PS3. But if you notice, it's got like the touchpad, which helps. It's got the better thumbsticks that are easier to rest your thumb upon. Better triggers and stuff, which that has improved upon it. And I think Nintendo kind of needs to do that instead of just pulling out of nowhere. Look, we got a screen built into our systems, which a load of third-party developers be like, what the hell am I meant to do with that? But I think a lot of third-party developers also missed slightly, in my opinion, point. Of they did say you didn't need to do anything with the screen, which a lot of developers felt you did. You could easily make a game for the Wii U and just make the Pro controller the only pad that it needs. But people don't want to do that. However, yeah, this was a good talk, and that was our awards. Next time on our awards, it's others, other category, which includes stuff like wrestling, our own stuff, and little stuff like that. And joining us and hosting that one will be Rick the Hammer. I was your host. I was your host for this one, Chriz, aka the Mole.
Yep, I want to say that will also be split into 2 videos, 2 weeks running.
Technically, yes, but I was saying on the next one. I didn't say it was just going to be one, but yeah. And joining me for this one was James Pheonix. Where's James Pheonix?
Sorry, I thought I was unmuting that. Thank you for having me.
And Marcus Shadow.
Thank you.
Leave your comments and thoughts below. Let us know what you think about best and worst with all the stuff to do with video games this year, last year, 2014, and yeah, hopefully you'll see us again next year when we do this again. Peace.